Ricky Flex, I think we should slide on from one of the most anticipated movies from 2025 to one of the most anticipated movies of 2024. Ricky, Gladiator 2 first look. We have a trailer coming on July 9th. We are recording on July 7th. We will be talking about the trailer when it drops, but we have to talk about these first look images from the film. First official look at Paul Mescal as Lucius, a grown-up Lucius from the first Gladiator film. We have our first look at Denzel Washington in a supporting role. Joseph Quinn, first look at what looks like a Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix type of character. We shall see and learn more from the trailer that's coming. Pedro Pascal looking like a fellow gladiator. We see some battle sequences or stills with him and Paul Mescal. Connie Nielsen image of her returning. Ricky, after seeing these images and knowing a trailer is coming in the next 2 days, has this movie become your number one most anticipated movie of 2024?
Yes.
Me too.
I think I want to take that back. It's a battle. I still want to say Deadpool and Wolverine because I think that movie is going to hit hard. I think it's going to be amazing. I really have way too much faith in that movie to say like that can't be my number one, especially with the way superheroes are going right now. We need a comeback, and I think that movie is gonna just reignite. Holy crap, Marvel could still do this at times. Superhero movies still are good. Screw fatigue, everything. I'm seeing Deadpool and Wolverine multiple times in theaters. But dude, this is similar to the Joseph Kosinski F1 movie, Brad Pitt. Just seeing Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Denzel, all just on these stills. It gets my heart beating. It gets my heart. I get so excited. And they also announced, oh, by the way, trailer's coming in a couple of days. Like that's what when it goes to your question saying, oh, anticipation levels, it's like, all right, well, they're literally getting my anticipation levels right now just for a couple of days from now. So I want to say yes, but no, I have too much faith in Deadpool and Wolverine to say it. It's my number 2.
So it is a battle between Deadpool and Wolverine and Gladiator 2. Distant third, probably Joker Folia 2. I will say, for me, it's definitely Gladiator 2. And maybe obviously a little bit of recency bias, but I think it's more of just promotional fatigue from Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, I know it's going to be an important movie. I know it's going to tease implications for the future of the MCU. It's great to have Hugh Jackman back. It's great to have Ryan Reynolds join the MCU. But I have had so much Deadpool Wolverine ads thrown in my face. It is insane, right? I can't avoid them. They are everywhere right now. It's almost like that meme where the guy's walking with the girl, he's walking with her. That's Deadpool Wolverine, looks over his shoulder and sees pictures of like Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal fighting in Gladiator 2 and says like, ooh, I want a piece of that. That's me right now, right? We just had like in my opinion, the best trailer of the year with the F1, but that's because I haven't seen Gladiator 2's trailer yet, and that comes out July 9th. I just think because of the fatigue factor, that's weighing on me, I would say. I do want to kind of talk about some of the images here, Ricky Flex. I guess we start off with Paul Mescal. Paul Mescal might be other than Joseph Quinn, maybe the least known star in this cast, and he is the lead here. So I think it's important that we see him as the Gladiator, as a familiar character from the Gladiator world right before this trailer hits. He's a guy you don't usually associate with action film type of star. He is the soft, gentle voice in usually Oscar-nominated films. I think he looked pretty legit here, Ricky Flex. I think this is where he goes, and he goes from like Oscar-nominated actor to movie star. This is the transition we're seeing. We're seeing it in front of our eyes. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like Austin Butler, Floyd Ratha. This is that on steroids. Like this is that, like, but in the leading role, he's the guy that's taking this, not Denzel. He's the guy taking this, not Joseph Quinn or Pedro Pascal, who's going to be the leader of Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. So is this guy, and you can tell by these stills, dude, he is selling this as if someone that's like, women love him, like big stage theater guy, and he looks like he's meant for the big screen, like, and the way like that first still with the sword, and he's, to me that looks like pick up that sword, like I'm gonna beat you right now 1-on-1 when you're at your best. Like I'm not gonna hit you while you're down. I'm gonna wait for you. Like it looks like oh, he's got the confidence going. Like, are you not entertained type of feels right now in those stills. And now this might sound crazy, and I know we're like going off the walls right now in excitement because we just had F1, we have these stills, we're getting this trailer in a couple of days, but he looks like maybe he's the guy out of all these guys, Butler, Chalamet. Like, this might like tip the scales, this movie.
He's throwing his hat in the ring for sure.
Yes, exactly. So this will be a massive, massive movie, not obviously because of the budget, box office, IP, sequel, whatnot, the cast. It's because also like this is the future of Hollywood. Like this is like who's going to take on the next, like be the next him. Like who's going to be him, you know? And he's going to throw his hat in the ring, like you said.
It's crazy the confidence that Ridley Scott probably has in Paul Mescal. You know, it's the sequel is so unexpected, and all of a sudden the hype engine feels like it is at full throttle right now. And Ridley Scott having Denzel in a supporting role here, that kind of tells me how big this movie's ambitions are. Like, when has Denzel been in a supporting role? When was the last time? When would he say yes to it? And if he's not the leading man, he's saying yes with Paul Mescal. There must be a respect level there, I guess, between those two actors. Denzel looks cool as hell in this. You know, he's going to have so much swag in this movie, but Denzel, who is just one of the best A-list movie stars of the last 30 years, you know, and then we have this newcomer, Pedro Pascal, is probably a top 10, maybe top 5 movie star that we have in the world right now. He's going to be Mr. Fantastic, and it all hinges on Paul Mescal. But I do think Denzel looked awesome. Pedro Pascal, I thought, also looked sick. You know, you can see like in his face, right? Gladiator type of mode that he's able to channel. This is not like Oberyn Martell that he's channeling, right? This guy has some like pain behind him. This guy has some almost lifelessness at times that it looks like. I can't wait to see him fight Paul Mescal and see like the motivations for his character. I mean, Denzel is almost looking like a Littlefinger type of character in this movie for another Game of Thrones reference there. But both those guys also, I thought, looked on point, looking like movie stars.
Yeah, the Pedro Pascal still, not with him fighting, but walking with the fire in the background, soldiers. Like clearly there's just a huge battle or whatever happened. And that was like, that's a movie star. Like that's good. And the one where he is fighting Pedro Pascal and you can see his sword is in the air. That's probably where it connects to this still. I was talking about Paul Mescal. Was like, that's probably him saying to him, like, pick up your sword and fight me. Like, that's probably where it is. That is that one-on-one matchup, that showdown. You're probably thinking like, oh, Commodus versus Maximus. You know, you're thinking the one-on-one showdown, but these two guys are actually fighters. And then finally, you mentioned Denzel. What a cold ass picture. Hard. Yeah. Hard. The earring, the gold looks so good on Denzel. Like, he just looks like hard. Like, he looks amazing.
He runs shit.
Yeah. Like, for me, he reminds me of you remember the guy, like the senator in the Gladiator that was helping out Maximus behind the scenes?
The guy who travels with him to the Colosseum.
White hair. He was in the set.
In the white beard.
Yes. So I think he's like going to be that type of guy, but elevated. And they're like, Ridley Scott's going to do a better job showing how important this guy is, and his presence will be shown. Like, look in the picture of this still. He's on like a freaking throne, even though this guy's not going to be the king or whatever, the leader of the Roman whatever empire. So that's my opinion of it. But all you got to know is that Denzel, I think he doesn't obviously steal the show and all these these options out of all these stills. But that was the one where I literally gasped. I was like, holy crap. He looked like similar to Brad Pitt. We were saying how good he looks. I was like, Denzel just looks so cool.
Yeah, he was packing heat in that picture. When you talked about that guy, I think it's Proximo is the character's name. And he's the guy when Russell Crowe's talking with him. Russell Crowe's like, ha, you knew Marcus Aurelius. And he's like, I did not know of him. I said he touched me. You know, that guy is, I love that supporting actor there. He was the man. Is that what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Like, so like when I say that, like he's going to be that type of character,
but not like, love you.
Yeah. Like a guy, like a mentor, like the mentor, not like literally like he's going to be a higher, like, high respected society. Denzel.
He looks like a head of like merchants. You know, it just seems like a very rich dude. I have no idea. Maybe he owns some of the gladiators. I don't want to even guess until like we see the trailer and learn a little bit more. Joseph Quinn here, interesting look. I know it's like you see everyone else looking so goddamn cool, and you see like Joseph Quinn with those Quiet Place Day One like bubbly like tearful eyes with this red fiery hair. I'm just like, okay, this guy doesn't look as cool, but I see the vision.
It's like a more boyish, childish Commodus. That's what it looks like.
Yes, I don't even because there's going to be I think another almost like Caesar type character alongside him, right? And that was supposed to be initially Barry Keoghan, but Barry Keoghan dropped out, and it's the dude from White Lotus who's coming in. I think Freddie Hatchinger, I think his name is. I think he's coming in to replace Keoghan, but doesn't get a still here. Maybe that says something about like his screen time in the movie. Who knows? It's so early on here, Ricky Flex. But last thing here, this movie just feels different from recent Ridley Scott movies. You know, it's like Napoleon. It was a little bit silly with the Joaquin performance. It has some great sequences and what makes Ridley Scott with those battle sequences. He kind of had a little bit more fun than audiences were expecting. Same goes for House of Gucci. A little like I guess riding on the side of absurdity a little bit. He's not fucking around with Gladiator. Like Gladiator is like his legacy alongside Alien. Like this is like I am making a sequel in the age of legacy sequels, and we are subtracting one of the greatest protagonists in movie history, and we are moving on from that in a sequel that no one really asked for. It just seemed like he's had this idea brewing for such a long time. I think Ridley Scott is going all in. This is going to be the best Ridley Scott movie we've had, and I don't know how long, Ricky Flex. I just think his ambitions is much higher for this one than other movies.
I totally agree. It's like Ridley Scott. Hey, he's not like one of these guys like Scorsese or whatever where he doesn't usually have a miss, and he only does this. He's very selective with his projects. Ridley Scott likes to work. This guy's he's 80 or 81, and he likes to rip out a movie almost every year. And hey, some of them don't hit, but there are ones where he just puts more passion into it and takes more seriously. And this is one of those. Like Napoleon, we thought that was one because like that trailer, there was no comedy in that trailer, and you have Joaquin Phoenix, and like obviously we've seen Joaquin and other stuff, and in that type of emperor type of role, and we're like, holy crap, he's gonna be a great Napoleon, and maybe he was, but the movie itself just didn't work. And House of Gucci, that's when we were just COVID optimism. That was just bad. So here it's like we got something where he can't get wrong because his legacy's on the line, and he's just with this cast too. Like I feel like he's gonna treat this like his own baby.